Metal Gear, bro. Let me tell you something. So
Yeah.
you didn't have the opportunity to finish 3
No, I didn't
yet,
start
right?
playing 3. No.
Oh. Give me your thoughts on 1 and 2, just real quick, if you don't mind.
I
Like from
I
what you remember.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this was so cool. I like you play old classic games and you can instantly be like, okay, you kind of have to take this through a different kind of lens because of just it's of the time and everything like that. Okay. I played
Mhm.
1 and it was like my like I guess my sense of disbelief, it kind of just like eroded away, and I was just so immersed in the game. I thought it was so
Yeah.
cool and so fun, and I can't imagine people playing that all the time because it had so much innovative mechanics with it. It was so cool. I love
Yes.
the whole the story that was already pre-built. Like it was like you go in there and there's all these
Yes.
characters about what they had history. And
Yes.
normally in these types of stories, you this is when you would start the relationship or like start the
Yep.
connection or meeting of characters and you build them up. They had pre-established
Yep.
stories and it was so crazy and
Right.
so cool. And then 2, it was just that elevated. Very interesting to have, the change of character throughout the entire
Yes.
game. And I know how a lot of people,
Mhm.
that was during the time, that was a very controversial.
Very controversial. Yep.
Yeah, but I still very much enjoyed it. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 1 and 2, I had a really great time, and I was really excited to, pursue the rest of it because of everything that you said. It,
Mhm.
and I know, like, yeah, you've been singing praises of Metal Gear Solid 3, and that was like the one that
Oh,
you're like Metal Gear Solid 3.
yeah.
You're like, yes. So I was like keen to get into
Yeah.
that, and everything
Yep.
else afterwards. But yeah, when the announcement dropped, I was like, oh my god, I need to know your thoughts on this. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
dude. So the 2 games that I think ever since then, obviously I've had a lot of great experiences, but I think the 2 games that forever changed the way I looked at video games, in regards to them as a storytelling medium, is Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And to have both of them getting remakes is the craziest thing ever to me, man. Like MGS3, because like you said, MGS1, such a special game and for so many different reasons. MGS2 over time has become one of my favorite games of all time. It is such a special experience. But 3 introduces my favorite character in the series, and it's like that story of that particular character through time is just it's so special. And I'm a sucker for games that have a story that's like that. I'm not, of course, I'm trying not to say anything
Yeah.
about the game itself, but there's certain things that the game touches upon, how it combines the elements of video games the same way that MGS1 and MGS2 do. Where, for example, MGS1 you have to unplug your controller in order
Yeah.
to defeat Psycho Mantis, right?
Mhm.
MGS3 has a lot of that stuff, and it felt like Kojima was really starting. I mean, he already had a good control over cinematics and gameplay, but in MGS3, it really felt like he had a great mesh of how to combine cinematics with gameplay,
Mhm.
and it's just such a special game. MGS4 is also really special, and so are so many other games in the franchise. But 3 was the one that like spoke to me to the moon and back. And so when they announced that remake, I have been waiting for it ever since Phantom Pain came out in 2015. I was
Mhm.
like, we need a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. We had a Pachinko animation that came out like in 2018, and that gave me high hopes. The Snake Eater 3DS
Yep.
version sold really well. So I was like, okay, this remake might happen. If Final Fantasy VII is getting remade, if Resident Evil 2 was getting remade, all these classics getting remade, it's a matter of time before Metal Gear Solid 1 gets remade. And before MGS1 got remade, we're getting 3.
Wow.
That shocked me.
Yeah,
That
wow.
shocked me. And so I was like, hold on, man. It was one of the most exciting reveals I've ever had for like a gaming
Yeah.
conference, just because I've been waiting for so long how much the game means to me personally. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm so hyped for MGS3 remake. I just hope they do it right, because obviously Kojima's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Konami is just holding on to this as an old IP. So I just hope whatever studio's working on it is a studio that's going to give it the love and care it deserves, because it is a special game.
Yeah, and I do believe that they will go and fall along with that because it's the amount of love that the community has for that game is
Yeah.
overwhelming, and so that really rides on how faithful they adapt it. So I do
Mhm.
think they're gonna really go for it, and I mean, like, I can't. Yeah, I'm so happy that you have that that excitement for a reveal like this. And I mean, there's like a few games that I'm kind of waiting for that when the reveal actually officially happens, it's going to be a very exciting time. Like for me, you know, like I'm waiting for when they officially say, yeah, The Last of Us Part 3 is going to be coming out,
Ooh, yeah,
because I love that game, and I like when
yeah.
I was big into Uncharted, and I love
Oh,
those
special
games.
franchise.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love those games
love
so
Uncharted.
much. Yeah, and I play like when The Last of Us came out, like the demo, I would download the demo and play it over and over. When the game came out, I like
Yeah.
called up my video, like the Blockbuster, and said, "Hey, hold this for me. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
down there right now." Walked almost an hour to like the store to grab it. Finished it in like 2 days, and I was like,
Hmm.
okay. Um, so and then to play through the game again, like I played through 1 and 2, just cried so much at part 2. And then
Hmm.
for my fiance to get into gaming and then to go and play through part 1, so like the complete remake of
Right.
that, and for me to go and watch that and like experience it again and play
Must
through
have
part
been
2,
special.
it was really
Yeah.
special. And then to watch the
Yeah.
show, and just for them to really
Yeah.
knock it out of the park with the show and elevate it in such a unique way with all different characters, different
Hmm.
stories. I'm just so excited to
Yeah.
see when that part 3 announcement comes out, and then for me and my fiance like to experience it together. That's like really something I'm looking
It's
forward
gonna be
to.
special.
But for you to kind of
Yeah.
imagine that, like kind of just dream that this is going to be an announcement in the future, and like you're waiting for part like Metal Gear Solid 1 to come out, like kind of the announcement,
Yeah.
and then go, all right, it's coming out. That means this is going to come out soon. It's kind of like it's like them announcing Steel Ball Run animation before like part
Yes.
6, like
Before like
it's
Stone
in
Ocean,
development.
exactly.
Yeah, part 7's in
Exactly.
development. You're like, oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like it's
Exactly.
insane that they did that. But
Yeah.
I'm really cool that
Be,
you have that. Yeah.
before the MGS3 one, and still even with the MGS3 one, just because of how shocking it was at the time, the craziest reveal I've ever seen was that Final Fantasy 7 Remake one, because after 2005, they did a tech demo on the PS3
Mhm.
that showed how powerful that console could be by remaking the intro to Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
And we held on to that after the compilation when Crisis Core showed us the first how it could look like in a modern setting. We're like, man, this has to happen. And when it was finally shown off at E3 2015, that was the year of dreams. They had Shenmue there, they had Lost Guardian there, they had Uncharted 4 there, they had Destiny.
Yeah.
It was a crazy year. But FF7 Remake was the big highlight coming out of that show, because that game, of course, means so much to people. But like MGS, rumors for years that we kind of started giving up on the idea, like maybe they're not going to do it. Maybe they're not going to do it. And when they showed it, it was like, oh man, greatest thing ever. And so I can't wait for part 2 of that. That's that franchise is really special. But I'm glad you love Naughty Dog, man. You know, Uncharted and Last of Us are really great franchises. I can't wait to see what they do next with either franchise.
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. They recently just had a post, because it was you know, the Last of Us multiplayer has been in the works for many years, and there've been delays and kind of speculation. And they put out that post saying, look, it is in development, but we're still working on it. But we're also working on some brand new IPs, like our next single player experience. And then that's just like, oh my god. And there's rumors of them working on maybe like a fantasy kind of story, or you know, there could be a fantasy game, or they could be working on part 3. I imagine there's 2 different studios, potentially one for part 3 and one for like this fantasy game. But them doing a brand new kind of story, and if they do go the fantasy route, like anything they do, it's just like you said, cinema. It's just straight up cinema. Amazing.
The reason why I'm so excited for them taking the fantasy route, those Jack games are special, and that came from Naughty Dog. Of course, the same guy isn't at the head anymore. He left after Jack 3, but still, that same studio produced Jack 1, 2, and 3, which those are really good games. So if they were to take that, just as an example, a Jack type of world, give it the Last of Us type of storytelling focus on it, oh man, that would be peak.
That'd be
That would be so peak.